Hey guys, how's it going? It's Joe Raiti from Raiti's Rides, and I am standing in front of one of my favorite cars of all time, the Corvette. I've always been a big Corvette fan. Back when I was younger, I had a Corvette myself, and I have followed the series from the start since 1953 all the way to present day with even the 2019 Corvettes that have been released. Let me give you a little bit of history if you're not familiar with the Corvette. Like I said, Corvette's been around since 1953. Now, that first Corvette was a far cry from what's behind me. That had a straight six called the Blue Flame 6, put out maybe 160 horsepower. If you like white, you're in good hands because guess what? That first year, you could only get it in white with red interior, and that was it. Biggest problem was it came with an automatic transmission, and that was just a power glide. It wasn't sporty whatsoever. Fast forward to 1950, a guy by the name of Zora Duntov takes over the Corvette program, and he shoehorns a small block, a Chevy small block V8 into the Corvette, making it a real, true performance sports car. And that's why to this day, not only to me, but to many people around the world, Corvette is the true American sports car. Now, as the years went by, there were different generations. And if you ever hear somebody say C1, C2, what does that really mean? So C1 goes from 53 all the way to 62. C2 is 63 to 67. You have C3, which is going to go from 68 all the way to 1982. It's actually the longest generation of them all. Then you're going to go through the 80s into the mid 90s. That's going to be C4. And then it just continues into C5, C6. And now we have, with this 2017 Z06 Corvette, this is the C7, the seventh generation of the Corvette. What's amazing about this Z06 behind me is that a lot of those little things that is what led us to Corvettes being so amazing, you're still going to find in the new Corvettes of today. Let's go ahead and check out the Z06. I want to start at the front. My favorite part of the new C7 Corvettes is the front end. I especially like the Z06s. Now, if you're wondering, well, what is a Z06? A Z06 is going to be a car that has a supercharged V8, put out 650 horsepower. Now, I know some of you are probably saying, well, isn't the ZR1 Corvette being released right now? Yes, you are right. For 2019, Chevrolet has the King of the Hill back, the LT5. It's got a supercharged V8 that puts out 755 horsepower. So you might say, does that make the Z06 just obsolete? No, I don't think so, because with the ZR1, it's not simply just a larger horsepower number. There's a lot of other things that come with it, and it also comes with a price tag of $155,000. These Z06s, depending where you're looking, you can get massive rebates right now. And like I said, 650 horsepower, you can live with that every single day. But check out the front. I really love the brake cooling ducts that are integrated into the front grille area. The Z06 and the Grand Sport share the same bodywork, and the bodywork is actually going to be wider, and I'm going to show you that in a second. Another thing I want to show you that Chevrolet really was the first to bring to market was the performance camera package. If you look here, these are cameras at the front. This actually has a data recorder. You go do a track day, it'll actually record your laps, show your RPM, your speed, all that good stuff, and obviously video footage. What's also neat is that if you do daily drive your Z06 and say you're going to that fancy restaurant with your wife and you got to valet the car, this is also going to record what is that valet doing when you're not around. Of course, finished in classic red. I really, really love how they took that traditional Corvette emblem, brought it into the 21st century. You go all the way back. This is what you saw on Corvettes. Another feature I love about the Z06 I love this heat extractor here on the hood. It's going to draw that heat. Remember, 650 horsepower, a lot of power. With power comes heat. We need to get the heat out of the car. Another thing that I love about the front of the C7 Corvettes is I love the body lines. I love these sharp creases that start on the nose and continue all the way in the hood. Very nice touches. Let's go ahead and swing to the side. Now, before we go all the way to the side, remember how I was telling you that the Z06 is wider? Here's where it's wider on both sides. The Z06 has larger front tires than the standard Stingray Corvette. So this is where you're going to see that extra addition to the bodywork. Another Z06 specific is going to be the side grille area. This is something that is not only Z06 specific, but goes back all the way to the early generations. You always have a side grille area. That's something that's a styling cue that says this is a Corvette. What's nice is they have a very nice, tasteful emblem showing Z06 supercharged, and this is fully functional, which is a nice touch. But you can see just the lines. I really, really love, almost lost my flip-flop there. I really, really love the lines as they go back. Now, these vents here, many people think that these are for brake cooling. These are actually for the transmission cooler. Remember, this has a transaxle. If you don't know what that is, the car is front engine. So the engine's in front. Normally, the transmission would be right about here in this area. Well, to balance out the weight distribution, the transmission is actually in the rear of the car. So these cooling ducts are functional to help cool the coolers for the transmission so the transmission doesn't overheat. Also have these side functioning vents down here for brake cooling. Very, very nice, tasteful done. Check out these wheels. These wheels are massive. Now, one thing that I do not love about this particular Z06, I'm not really into the chrome bling bling here. I would really like to see like a flat black wheel or even a gloss black wheel. But remember, to each their own. It's just not my cup of tea, as my grandmother used to say. Obviously, this car comes with the whole complete Brembo package, brake setup, 6 pistons up front. You got the 4 pistons in the rear. They're fully ventilated and slotted. Very nice touch. You can get the carbon ceramic brakes. That's an extra upcharge that you would have to check off. Let's go ahead and check out the rear. As you can see, very tastefully finished off, functional vents. I really like the kick-up spoiler here. It's not too obnoxious. It gives a nice airflow to give it some downforce. Another thing I want to point out is a lot of people didn't like these tail lights on the C7s when they came out because they're not totally round, because that's a Corvette trademark. These, they're like a squared off roundish. I like them. I don't have a problem with it. I'm not really the biggest fan of them being clear. It kind of looks a little weird to me. If they were red, I think it would actually match this particular Z06 perfect because with the red bodywork. But you can see how with the diffuser down here, very, very nice touch. I don't know about you. Outside is great. Let's go check out that 650 horsepower supercharged V8. Let's go check it out. All right, guys, here we are underneath the hood of this Z06 Corvette, and there is the heart of the beast. That's an LT4. That is the supercharged V8, 650 horsepower. Now, what I like what Chevrolet did is they actually took the supercharger and they flipped it upside down. That way they could run a not too obnoxious hood. If you look at the ZR1, when the ZR1s hit your showroom floors or your favorite car show, you're going to see that the supercharger is actually different. When you open up the hood's going to be totally different because this whole part's going to be missing. But I'll be doing a review on that coming up soon, so make sure you stick to the channel. But you can see very clean. Everything is purposeful. You can see that heat extractor that I was telling you about. I like all the ducting that they have and just very, very clean setup. But it's unbelievable that you can get everyday performance, yet take this thing to a track day or a drag strip and you're going to run crazy times and have all this power. You go back, say, to the first ZR1 Corvette, since I brought up ZR1. Does anybody happen to know what year was the first year of the ZR1 Corvette? I'll wait. Yes, you're right. The 1990 ZR1 is the first year of the ZR1 Corvette. When that came out in 1990, guess what, guys? It had 375 horsepower. Yes, you heard that right. 375 horsepower. This thing is a Z06, not the ZR1, 650 horsepower. So we're talking about almost an extra 300 horsepower. That's what technology brings. That's what that supercharger brings. Very, very nice here. Let's go check out the interior and see if Chevrolet has brought it up to spec of some of the other competitors. Let's go check it out. All right, guys, here we are sitting inside the Z06 Corvette. And I think with the C7, more so than any other generation, you're going to see that the Chevrolet engineers have knocked it out of the park with finally, that's always been probably the weakest link is the interior when comparing it to a Porsche or a Ferrari or something like that. But take a look at these seats. I love the style. These are just the basic seats. You could actually get an optional seat. I like the Z06 embossed in the headrest. I love the Corvette flags there. I really like the way it's a perforated leather in the center and the nice Napa Valley leather on the sides. Great color too. I think this color combination really works with the red and the tan inside. Personally, I would probably want gray or maybe even a black. I've even seen some red on red color combinations that I like. Another thing that I really like is I love the armrest here, and there it is, the 7-speed manual transmission. This thing is like a hot knife through butter, very short, very crisp shifts. It is going to handle all the power of that engine. And speaking of the power, check out the little emblem that they have here. Some people think this is hokey. I think it's cool. Let you know Z06, 650 horsepower, 650 foot-pounds of torque. We're talking about 0 to 60 in less than 3.5 seconds. Here's another little touch I want to show you. If you ever go and have to get this valeted and something needs to be locked in the car, the problem is the glove compartment doesn't lock, this doesn't lock, the back doesn't lock, there's nothing back there, but check this out. You press this button, it's like James Bond, Aston Martin style. The Navi screen drops down. Now you could put a wallet, you could put credit cards, and then guess what? You seal it up and nobody knows it's there. And it's a code that you set to get it open. It's just little things like that. I really, really love the shape of the steering wheel. I like the way they have some carbon fiber here. Now, if you're wondering, hold on a second, what's going on here? Why is this a manual yet it has the flappers behind the steering wheel? This is a manual, but what this car comes with is rev match. And if you want to turn it on, you just hit this one. If you want to turn it off, you hit this one. So maybe you're doing a track day and you want to do a lap when you're doing your own heel toe downshifting while you're going through the gearbox, you could do it old-fashioned way. Or if you want the computer to do it for you, you just turn it on and it's good to go. I really, really love all the touches. Very, very nice. And that's what brings it up to that higher quality level that maybe you didn't find just a few years ago. I don't know about you, but let's go ahead and check out the back trunk space of this because that's what really separates this car from a lot of other sports cars. Let's go check it out. All right, so we're at the back of the Corvette, and like I was saying earlier just a second ago, this is for me what really separates the Corvettes from the Porsches, from the Ferraris, all the other sports cars out there is this back cargo area. With the hatch up, you can see just how much space is in here. I really, really like how wide it is. It's deep enough to where you could go and get some groceries and whatnot and put it back here. Very, very smart for the engineering because, guys, I know maybe your wife is saying, why are you going to get a sports car, honey? It's only got 2 seats and you can't put anything in the back. Well, guess what? I can't help you out with getting any more seats for your family, but I can get you this back cargo area, which may be that deciding factor of pulling the trigger and getting yourself a Corvette. Like I said, these things you could drive on a daily basis, put a ton of stuff in the back, and it actually gets really good gas mileage considering 650 horsepower. At the end of the day, guys, it's one of those things that when it comes to a Corvette, there's that extra heritage, there's that extra tradition. And that's what I've always loved about these cars. And what's nice to see, I'm very happy to say, is that the tradition is continuing. This Corvette is still America's sports car. And I am really excited for what the future is going to bring. Because remember, in 2020, we're going to see something different back here. There's going to be the first ever mid-engine Corvette. But anyways, if these are the types of cars you want to see, leave a comment in that comment section. If you have a Corvette story you want to talk about, leave it in the comment section. You can visit my website, raitiesrides.com, and send me a message directly through there. If you haven't been to my Instagram page, shame on you. Go check it out. It's all original content. If you are new to this channel, this is your first time watching, take that button, hit the click, and click subscribe. I promise you it's worth coming back every single time. Those of you who have subscribed, I appreciate you being on this journey with me. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.